Hello dear viewer, welcome back. Today our goal on Vulcanus is total perfection. We are refactoring the entire base to rare quality, setting up half a turbo belt of science per minute and preparing to launch for Gleba. Before we rebuild everything, we need a reliable way to clear out the Demolishers to make some space. I set up a small mall for artillery turrets and shells. While normal shells are fine, I want those turrets in rare quality for that extra range. And because everything that provides a bonus has to be rare. Why? Reasons. While the artillery production is working, we send a care package of rare modules and accumulators over to Fulgora. Using automated requests from space, we get those items down to the ground. Since our engineer is still chilling on this beautiful electric planet, we can now manually perform the upgrades. Back on Vulcanus, we start dropping rare modules into our existing setups, but immediately hit a massive bottleneck: sulfuric acid. A second acid patch is sitting right in Demolisher territory. Instead of fighting for it just yet, we upgrade our existing pump jacks with beacons and rare modules. To boost water production, I also upgrade these chemical plants to rare quality. An upgrade from normal to rare usually is a 60% boost in speed or whatever the bonus provides. With 2 artillery turrets ready, it's time to claim some land. I estimated a quantity of 10 shells to kill the Demolisher. But it turns out I actually need a couple shots more. With the threat eliminated, bots clean up the cliffs, rocks and scorched trees. I decided to route some excess rare iron plates into a steel production whenever iron backs up, and steel is in high demand at the same time. We also put some speed modules into the foundry making the rare LDS, since it cannot keep up with the rare plastic output. To the south, another Demolisher is standing between us and some nice real estate. One artillery barrage later, the space is ours. And a nice coal patch. Before building new sub-factories though, we need a brand new power plant. It features a dedicated calcite patch and train route. The required sulfuric acid will be pumped from this patch over here. Of course, every turbine, solar panel and even the train itself is crafted in rare quality. We hunt down one more Demolisher before finishing the elevated rails for the calcite train. I love trains in Factorio, and seeing rare quality locomotives and cargo wagons rolling along elevated tracks just looks incredible. In Factorio 2.1, calcite consumption for acid neutralization was increased significantly, making a dedicated calcite supply essential. With a new power plant online, we tear down the old one. The new power plant easily outputs over 1.21 gigawatts of power. Enough to send us back to the future. The free open space in the west can now be used for our new science sub-factories. I already laid down some of the blueprints needed. The target is to produce and consume half a turbo belt of science using exclusively rare buildings and modules. We start with red, green, blue and purple science, the most important packs to start pumping up the mining productivity numbers. Normally I don't use much concrete, but I have to step up my game regarding aesthetics. Together with a couple of lamps, hopefully this will look amazing once complete. Crafting all of the required rare materials will take quite a while. And we still have to construct the sub-factories for all the raw ingredients. One feature I really love is the ability to directly upgrade existing trains to higher quality on the fly. And this of course works all in remote view, while my engineer is still on Fulgora. Next we place down the factories for our purple science ingredients. Level 1 productivity modules and a block for electric furnaces. And in the middle a massive red circuit factory. 2 blocks because red circuits will be in high demand. And an engine sub-factory for the blue science pack. Meanwhile on Fulgora we swap out more normal accumulators for rare ones. The jump from normal to rare for accumulators is huge. Rare ones store 15 megajoules instead of 5. That's thrice as good. I also decided to set up some quality production here on Fulgora, just by using a couple of quality modules in the miners. This way I can filter out rare steel, blue circuits, gears and concrete to automate rare recyclers. The alternative would have been to ship over these products from Vulcanus. Since our accumulators store so much power now, we can finally afford to go full productivity modules across the entire Fulgora base, without risking blackouts during the day. Back on Vulcanus, we need a huge amount of coal for the new rare coal liquefaction factory to process heavy oil into plastic. Our 2 red circuit blocks alone need 2 full turbo belts full of plastic. To kickstart the coal liquefaction reaction, we barrel up some heavy oil from the old factory and ship it over. Using an assembler, we can now empty the barrels on the spot. Since the base still has to craft hundreds of rare inserters, there's no action yet. Just north of our coal liquefaction build, we've got this massive stone production setup using the molten copper from lava recipe. We need 4 whole turbo belts full of stone just to feed these 2 factories producing stone bricks, which are going straight into our furnace and purple science setups. Down here is the massive rail production. To never run out of research, I looked into a new Factorio feature, which is controlling and automatically queuing research based on conditions. These are a couple of decider combinators reading the quantity of available science packs. Inside of a lab, a research priority can then be set depending on the output of the combinators. To properly read available science packs, a connection to this chest and the cargo landing pad has to be established. If there are enough Fulgora packs, I want to increase blue circuit productivity. If Vulcanus packs are available, LDS productivity. Else, mining productivity. This way we can basically go AFK and let the base work on its own for hours. The conditions in those decider combinators are slightly complicated because we need something like an RS latch, a memory signal so that research isn't switching every tick when crossing the threshold. I already know that the base will soon need way more energy, which is why I'm trying to add solar power and accumulators in advance. But trust me, this won't be sufficient for long. Every single rare item that was still missing has been installed. I love this moment when we can finally connect the most important pipe segments to start this new science factory. I'm starting with the steel producing foundries feeding the furnace and rail subfactories. Purple science needs an overwhelming quantity of rails, but this is looking good so far. Next up, it's time to kickstart these green circuit lines. It's a super compact design, specifically built to feed the massive red circuit production blocks sitting right down there. Honestly, it's such an impressive view watching all of this run. I absolutely love it. And it looks like everything is humming along with zero issues in sight. Some of these red circuits will be turned into furnaces and productivity modules. Together with the rails, we have all 3 ingredients for the purple science pack. Next, we have to kickstart production of the last missing blue science ingredient, which is engines. Engines are made exclusively from iron products, gears, steel and pipes. At the same time, the molten iron and copper will reach the red and green science production as well. If there are no errors I overlooked, this factory will now pump out 2000 science per minute for red, green, blue and purple. And these 4 packs are the most important ones for infinite mining productivity and the infinite planetary productivity bonuses. Upon closer inspection, it's obvious that half a turbo belt for each science, or 2000 eSPM, cannot yet be reached. Our power production is still lagging behind. At this point, 1.8 gigawatts would be necessary for full electricity satisfaction. Even though there's a substation missing in the bottom left corner, we need more power. Since I knew power will become an issue, I wisely set up a dedicated electric network for each acid neutralization chemical plant. This works by building a dedicated substation or power pole that is not connected to the main grid and has its own solar power. This way steam will be produced at full speed even when the main electrical grid suffers from a lack of power. Anyway, let's go ahead and double our steam production and consumption by slapping down another row of turbines. Looks like my alignment is off by 1 tile. Classic. Instead of trying to increase the speed of this single chemical plant to keep up, we'll just build a second one right beside it. I actually had 10 rare turbines in stock, but the rest of them still have to be crafted at the mall. With the new factory up and running, we can finally rip out all of the old science production and labs to streamline the main base. Honestly, it feels so good clearing out this legacy clutter. I just love keeping my base clean and tidy. Next up, we are upgrading the entire bot fleet. I insert new rare bots into this roboport, while this one down there is configured to request all the old normal bots, dumping them straight into an active provider chest, so they can be transported to a recycler. For now, the other science packs from Fulgora, Military Science and Golden Science will be transported by bot into these requester chests. These new production lines look absolutely stunning. We now reach 2000 eSPM because the power production has been stabilized. There are still turbines missing, but power satisfaction is now at 100%. The efforts to clean up the old base are nearly finished. I also decided to upgrade all inserters and chests in our mall and quality production subfactories. Rocket silos also have to be rare. This is the new Orbital launch site, 4 silos per rare substation grid. I also want to construct a new spaceship, another Asteroid Gambit Mark II in rare quality. This is probably the first time I completely rely on and trust in the new Factorio 2.1 mixed cargo rocket launch logic. And it turns out it works very well, automatically mixing items requested by the spaceship to not waste resources by only being able to launch one item at a time and only with a full rocket stack size, as was the case in Factorio 2.0 before. This is the mall expansion for normal items, a small military and golden science production, foundries making all belt tiers and the production of rocket parts. Oh, and space platform foundations are being crafted to finish this new ship, which will be responsible for distributing all items, normal and rare, to all other planets. This means I immediately switch to an endgame strategy where every single item in the game is only being made on one planet. For most items, it's Vulcanus. This will make malls on other planets obsolete. For example, I won't even craft simple things like pipes on Gleba. Everything will be shipped. I just got rid of the old stone brick subfactory. Access bricks will simply be put into the network here. The Metallurgic science production is still standing but has been upgraded to rare quality buildings. The labs are now far away, which is why I deploy a new rare train to transport the science packs. Upon entering the train to set up its schedule, I realize there's no valid path to the destination train stop. Time to investigate. The trick is to zoom out until the map is visible, then holding Control and hovering with the mouse over the train tracks. If the piece of track can be reached, you'll see the path clearly visible. Until it breaks, seems like the elevated tracks have not been constructed properly. The rail supports are misaligned. Let's fix that and wait until the bots finish construction. The train will now hopefully travel to the Metallurgic Science unloading station, where we will route those science packs into our labs. In Space Age, it's not necessary to meet the SPM number of the core science packs, red, green, blue and purple, since we want to switch research frequently. We are producing 500 Vulcanus science packs per minute, which is already overkill. The logistic groups I set up are a new experiment. My goal is to reuse them on each planet. For example, Vulcanus entities rare will be imported everywhere. I briefly stop the supply ship in Norvis orbit to upgrade the small space science platform with rare materials. The platform-to-platform transportation feature is amazing. It opens up so many new possibilities. The fact that we import space science from a platform in Norvis orbit, despite the planet being abandoned, is nuts. The space science production rate also does not have to match the core SPM rate, because the important productivity research does not require space science. This upgraded mini-platform now produces 144 SPM, which will be more than enough for our adventures ahead. I dropped the normal items down to Norvis. What is even happening on Norvis? Biters expanded and set up nests very close to our starter base, but no attacks are coming in, which makes sense since we don't pollute the planet. Well, technically there is a minuscule amount of pollution because buildings draw some idle energy and during the night solar power is zero. We never build accumulators. We are stockpiling more and more items inside our supply spaceship to get completely geared up for the invasion of Gleba. And finally we can send our engineer back up into space. Poor guy's been stuck hanging out here on Fulgora for way too long. But there's one last thing we have to take care of. The base still contains the old coal liquefaction and oil processing factory. Deconstruction is already on its way, because the base has to be fully rare and tidy. This sub-factory isn't that important anymore, since the science production has its own oil production. We still need plastic, lubricant and light oil to craft rocket fuel though. As always, when trying to kickstart coal liquefaction, we need a little bit of heavy oil to get going. This time I'm taking it from the already existing factory, using an assembler and barrels again. After a couple barrels have been filled and bots removed the full barrels, we empty them over here at the new factory. Okay, this looks very nice. Let's check if the rocket fuel production is kicking in as well. It takes a while to reach full production, but I realized that it's better to supply the refineries with 2 full turbo belts of coal. To defend against enemies on Gleba, we bump up electric weapons damage to level 4, while we are already researching mining productivity level 44. That's pretty crazy. Electric damage upgrades make no sense without Tesla weapons. I decided to immediately craft rare ones, since they have a better fork chance. Forks are incredibly powerful against pentaports. The rare holmium plates are simply made in this foundry using quality modules, recycling uncommon plates. The other rare ingredients are imported from Vulcanus. I will see you again on the surface of Gleba, next episode. Thanks for your generous support. 50% of my audience isn't subscribed yet. Press the button, it's free. Bye.